What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel. You're watching Miguel EDC, the channel where we talk everything EDC gear here. That's right. Today we're doing a quick review video here for you all to check out. We're going to be reviewing the Kizer Task, this knife right here, which I'm going to tell you right off the bat has been a blast to EDC. I've gotten a chance to carry this one here for quite some time. I'm just about getting ready to send it forward. I did get a chance to check this one out via the Lefty EDC knife pass around. So shout out to Kevin, aka Lefty EDC. Check him out and follow and subscribe to his channel if you aren't already. But man, oh man, what a knife, EDC knife right here. This one is a really good one. You guys are gonna want to definitely stick around because this one has a lot going for it. It has definitely been a pleasure to carry. This one is really good in so many ways, and we're going to get into it, of course. Now that I've gotten a chance to gather some feedback, I'm going to be sharing with you guys everything you need to know about this knife, and we're going to go ahead and get started here, doing the quick measurement on this bad boy, coming in at a total of almost 7 1/4. I want to say right on the money, actually. 7 1/4 inches long. We have a 3.2 inch blade with an actual cutting edge of around 2.75 right there. Take a look. And the handle is going to be around actually 4 1/4 inches overall length on that handle right there. Of course, let's do some size comparisons on this bad boy. So check it out. The Cryptid is just a tad bit smaller. The Task is maybe a hair bigger. We're talking about, 1/4 inch, right? Sometimes you feel that difference in your hands, right? If you guys can relate, let me know in the comments. Here's that Vosteed Raccoon we were talking about. All right, so it's just a tad bit shorter than the Raccoon, but bigger than the Cryptid. Probably the same size as the CJRB Pyrite. Well, a tad bit smaller than the Pyrite, but somewhere in that vicinity. About the Rap Model 1 and the Rap Model 2. Yeah, more Rap Model 2 territory for sure. All right, you guys be the judge right there. Here is the Demko AD 20.5. It's going to be a tad bit larger of a knife. Not by much, though. And here is the Shark Cub, which is the smaller brother of the 80/20.5. So it is going to be larger than the 80/20. It is going to be larger than the Shark Cub, but smaller than the 80/20.5. And last but not least, here's your PM2. And of course the Para 3. Okay, so if anything, it comes a lot closer to the Para 3, even though a tad bit shorter, but not by much. Again, it's just to give you a ballpark idea where this guy lands. Carry profile on this one really quick. Let's see here, thickness against the Rap Model 1. You're gonna see that it's very comparable, but the Rap Model 1 is just a tad bit thicker. All right, something like a Para 3. Maybe on par right there, right? Just a tad bit thicker than the Para 3. What is it? Length and height in the pocket right there. You can see it does have a very narrow design, right? Check it out. As compared to something like a Spyderco or let's say an 80/20.5 here, right? It's gonna be a much more streamlined design. It's not gonna be as wide in the pocket. So if anything, it's going to be more so, let's say, Raccoon territory, right? More so Rap Model 1 territory. Okay, you guys be the judge right there. Take a look. I should probably put them all with the clip on the same side for consistency, but yeah, definitely not that long. And also the fact that the blade actually tucks in a good portion, like 90% of the blade, 90 to 95% of the blade is tucked away. That is a pretty good thing right there. Check that out. How's the action on this bad boy? Well, man, oh man, let me tell you. amazing action on this thing. First things first, you have the Kizer's clutch lock, right, which is a pretty neat thing. We're going to circle back to that in a moment. So of course you could use a clutch lock, which is their version of a crossbar lock, to open and close the knife. You got thumb studs on both sides, so you could use the thumb studs to deploy, reverse flick, or using your thumb. And let me tell you, both of them work really good. This one here, I prefer using the meat of my middle finger there. And boom, see, it works every time right there. So great action. And the drop shot right here is super good. You got ball bearings on this thing, which make it really smooth. And at the same time, this thing locks up really solid, right? No side to side, no up and down play. Just as you would expect, this thing is rock solid, really good. What do we have as far as materials? Well, let me tell you, we got 154 cm steel on this one, It has a satin finish. They call it a reverse tanto, but I'm just gonna call it a sheep's foot, right? You call it whatever you like, right? If it makes you happy to call it a reverse tanto, then have fun, right? You do you. For me, it's more a sheep's foot. Of my book, again, 154 cm is a really good steel. A level up from D2 and 14C28N and Nitro V and such, which is good. We got the Kizer logo on this side and the steel and designer on the other side, which, by the way, this one is a Nick Consoli design. Right, I'm not very familiar with, you know, his work, but man, did he knock it out of the park with this one. The Task is just an amazing EDC knife, and you're gonna see why throughout this video. It's just wonderful. On the handles, we have micarta going on. This is a black micarta, which should turn darker and darker the more you use it. I think it looks really good. And spoiler alert, I'm also going to be reviewing the Cryptid also, which, I mean, the Cryptid is just like the Task in a way, but with a button instead and a little bit shorter. But man, they're both so good. I had a hard time picking and choosing which one to carry, and I just ended up carrying both because the action on both is so good and they are so sharp. Wait until you see this thing destroying the paper, the cardboard, you know, the typical cutting test that we do in this channel. Nothing too complicated, but man, these things are laser beam, super sharp, really good action and performance. Of course, we do have proud liners all throughout on this design. Those liners are milled from the inside. You can see the milling, and that helps with the weight quite a bit, right? It is a very lightweight knife, to say the least. Let's get a quick weight check on this bad boy here, shall we? Just right off the bat, I mean, super carryable, if that's even a word, knife, because it is not even that heavy. 3.3 ounces on this one, 3.3 ounces, right? Don't mind the crazy hair going on. You can see my reflection right there. What's up, guys? Face reveal 2024. Check it out, 3.3 ounces, super lightweight. For reference, the Cryptid is just a little bit lighter at 2.8 ounces. I mean, great weight for EDC purposes. And you know me, you know, I like a light knife just as much as I like a little heavier knife, so I don't discriminate. I love them all the same. And yeah, the weight department on this one is really good. Let's get a blade stock thickness read on this bad boy. The blade comes in at 0.12 inches, which is very typical for you know, average blade stock that I see here, knife after knife after knife in the channel. The handle thickness is 0.49, which is going to round it up to 0.50. That's half an inch right there, which is also a very common average thickness to most of the knives that we see here on the channel. So very good numbers right there. I want to say, check out the pocket clip, right? Pocket clip is, I want to say, really comfortable, right? Every single time I was doing the standard grip or hammer grip here, didn't have an issue with the pocket clip. It's nice and rounded right here in the back. It does have a little bit of a drop and ever so small raise with a very shallow bill. That's just the way to do it. And man, I could, you know, that's a 9.5 right there, pocket clip. Obviously a 10 out of 10 will be no pocket clip, but we do want to carry the knife in our pocket, so a pocket clip is necessary. But yeah, that's just as good as it can get with a pocket clip right there to do an awesome job. If that wasn't enough, it is deep carry, right? Very deep carry right there. You guys take a look. And it is reversible on the other side. So perhaps the one thing that, you know, looks a little bit odd on this side are the exposed holes. If they had done something similar to what, let's say, I just grabbed this one because it's the quickest one I have available to me right now, but check out the Vosteed Raccoon has a filler tab with countersunk flush screws right there. If they had done that on this side, that would have been maybe a tad bit nicer, if anything. But it is reversible, right? So if you're a lefty out there, tip up carry only, righty or lefty, which is great because this is, after all, an ambidextrous knife. It means you can use it with your left hand just as good as you could use it with your right hand. I'm right-handed, and you can see here, even though I'm not very lefty trained, I can still make it work, right? So very good knife right there, and the action is just oh so good, man, oh so good. So going back to the clutch lock for a second, I'm not sure if you guys can see it right here, but there are some tiny dots. I'm gonna aim just a tad bit amount of light right here to see if you guys can see it. But yeah, the clutch lock offers just different holes, if you will, in the scale. There you go, you can probably see it from right there. Yeah, it offers a way for you to adjust the Omega spring as tight or as loose as you like. So, you know, you can tighten it up or loosen it up to your liking, which is great. I want to say I've tried a lot of crossbar locks, you know, from Kershaw, from Vosteed, from Kumwu, from so many companies, and they all do a great job, right? I feel like, for the most part, Kumbu does an outstanding job. Kershaw has the dual lock. They also do really good job. So does Vosteed as well, right? Really, really good action. And it is not any different with the clutch lock. The clutch lock, which is Kizer's version of the crossbar lock, great, amazing action right here. Very, very fidgety, if I haven't already said that, right? Super, super fidgety knife. The action is amazing, very reliable, but also, again, rock solid, amazing action. And you have many ways of deployment, right? You got the actual crossbar itself, thumb studs for reverse flick, thumb deployment, and that is good. That's a good knife in my book, right? It has the performance, it has the capability, right, to do the work, but also a fun one to carry as well. And check out the blade alignment on this one. I've probably opened this one and closed it like 7 bajillion times. I'm sure all the YouTubers that have checked it out before me via the Lefty EDC pass around have done the same. This thing is smack in the middle, still smack in the middle, which is good. I want to say open back construction here for the most part. You have 2 standoffs. That's pretty much it. So they are able to sort of keep it at a decent price based on the fact that it is exposed liners with standoffs instead of backspacer and stuff like that. But where the money counts, it's there, right? The 154 cm, the clutch lock, the micarta, which is, by the way, a little chamfered or rounded off towards the edges. And so this makes for a great ergonomic knife, right? Ergonomically speaking, this knife is really, really good. I mentioned that earlier during, the little discussion about the pocket clip. I also wanted to point out the little finger choil right here towards the front, because I haven't mentioned that yet. So again, average hands, not the biggest, not the smallest. I can do the standard grip back here. But if I wanted more purchase, I could forward choke on here. The finger choil is pretty good, not extra big or necessarily big or annoyingly small, but just functional. Perfect size, at least for my size fingers here. And even though there is no jimping on this spine, which, would have been nice to have, at least it's just a preference, okay? On my end, it's not a make it or break it deal or anything, but I would have preferred, me personally, to have some jimping. Other than that, this thing is going to slice really good. The thumb studs are nice and far back here, so they're not gonna be on the path of the cutting or anything like that. You do have a pill-shaped hole going on here, which, in a way, it's actually not really functional as far as deployment goes. I would every time prefer using the thumb stud instead of the hole every single time. But aesthetically, it looks good. You have a little bit of a chamfer portion right here towards the front. Adds a little bit of personality to it. And I want to say Kizer does a really good job with their satin finish blades. These are no slouch, and they look really, really good. So let's do a scientific paper cutting test. Got some everyday notebook paper with my chicken scratch from other review videos. All right, let's see how this guy does. Oh yes, right away. This thing is going right through the paper very, very well. Let's get some full slices. I'll tell you, it performs very much on par with that Kizer Cryptid we just looked at in the last video, and it can cut paper really, really well. Now, this is not a brand new knife out of the box. This one has seen some use as part of Lefty EDC knife pass around. So shout out to Kevin for the opportunity. And yeah, it can certainly do paper, right? What about some cardboard? I have an interesting one here. This is some everyday cardboard from a diaper box. There's a section here that's single wall, and there's a section here that's dual wall cardboard. So I'm gonna cut through both. Keep in mind, when cutting cardboard, don't cut perpendicular, but rather at an angle like this. And so, yeah, this thing is going to annihilate the cardboard. All right, so it can do the single wall cardboard just fine. Now it gets a little bit more challenging because you're doing twice the work. Yeah, so obviously, yes, there's more friction, but it's still gonna cut it just fine, right? It does require a bit more force, but it will still cut it without any issues. You guys be the judge right there. Rate it in the comments on a scale from 1 through 10. How sharp is this guy? How much of an edge has it retained? Yeah, great action on this guy. This thing performs very, very well. Cuts like crazy, right? If I haven't already said that. Great fit and finish all around, right? This guy comes in at $82. Of course, this guy will be linked down below if you want to check it out, right? It's not quite a budget knife by this channel standard of $75 or less, but man, you're not that far off at all, and you are getting a little bit better steel than your average D2 or 14C 28N that you would find on that 75 and under category. and the action is just really, really good. You can, you know, open it slowly if you want, right? The open and close. Again, I've been, you know, kind of carrying it and just having a lot of fun with this knife throughout the entire experience. So great utility cutter also, right? The tip is nice and low, and you know me, I love me a sheep's foot or a Warncliffe blade any day of the week, and you could get utility cuts done. You could do draw cuts with this tip. This thing is going to put in work for you every single time, and I love that. That is why this is one of my favorite blade geometries. Not a reverse tanto, but a sheep's foot. That's a whole different discussion. So somebody went off on me on IG about that. We had a nice little back and forth. G-Ball Vision came to the rescue, but it's a fun story about reverse tanto and how that term was made up versus sheep's foot, but that's a whole different story for a whole different video. As far as I'm concerned, you know, this is a sheep's foot geometry right here. Now you do you, right? If you're the blade police, just type me a long comment down there, and I may or may not respond to you. Can you tell I've been watching too many Metal Complexes videos recently? I'm starting to sound like Metal Complex. I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, it's sometimes, I mean, you can't convince me otherwise. This is a sheep's foot in my book, and I'm not caving in. But man, oh man, what a knife. So apparently the Task, just like the Cryptid, are part of the Vanguard version of Kizer knives. I'm not entirely 100% sure what that means. If I'm being really honest, I do believe they have different tiers of knives. Some are like ultra budget. That's not what these are. And there's like a middle ground. I believe that's where these come in. And then there's the premium knives, which is, you know, knives like the Sparrow in titanium scales and S35 VN steel and such, right? A little bit more high end. We are going to be reviewing this one also as well, by the way. So, but yeah, man, they do a really good job here. I truly love it. I feel like everyone who's gotten a chance to check this one out loves it as well. Shoot, we almost forgot to do a hardware check, which is going to be very straightforward on this one. By the way, as usual, my tools are highly recommendable and linked down below. This guy has T6 for the most part everywhere, right? See, body screws, pivot, right? The screw back here is a T6. The only place that is a T6 is the pocket clip, which is okay. We can let that one slide, and the thumb stud, which is also a T6. So not bad. We have the T8 hardware where it counts, and that is in the pivot and the body screws. Would it have been nice to have T8 all around? Of course, right? That would have been nice, but they have it where it counts. And, you know, again, this is a preference thing, right? Would have been nice to have all T8? Yes. Is it a make it or break it deal? Not really, okay? I was so tempted to try to open a bottle with this thing, sort of like the Civivi Cubit or something with this thing, but it isn't my knife, so I didn't do it. But I'm sure it could get it done. I'm sure it could probably pop open a bottle or something with this little section right here, which is pretty neat, right? If you could do that, then your knife now becomes a multi-tool by definition. Obviously, I'm kidding, but man, this knife can do so much, and it's elegant, right? I feel like it's a very elegant knife while doing all those things. You know, great value for the money. Ultimately, that is what you have here. A great value for the money, and I feel like for the $82, you are certainly going to be very pleased with the action, the performance, everything this knife brings to the table, in my opinion, right? They did a really, really good job here. I really couldn't find any cons. Like, I was trying to think of cons, right? If I really had to be nitpicky, you could say the T6 screws, no jimping up here on the spine of the blade. But again, those are preference items, right? Would have been nice to have. To my preference, to somebody else, that might not be an issue at all. And I think this knife has way more going for it than anything I could possibly think of to nitpick or ding it for. So it's a great knife. Solid EDC knife, under $100, a little bit over 75 at that $82 price point. But man, awesome money well spent right here with the Kizer Task. And spoiler alert, the Cryptid is going to be not that much difference. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that right now. So look out for the review on that one as well. But there you have it, guys. That is the Kizer Task. Again, shout out to Lefty EDC for the opportunity to check this one out. Really had a blast. Had a really good time carrying this one alongside with the Cryptid. Both are solid, great value for the money. Really can't recommend them enough. So check them out. They are linked down below. If you do end up purchasing a knife through those links, it does help out the channel, but that is entirely up to you. My goal with this video, of course, is to at least have provided you enough value so you can make an educated decision, or otherwise just for fun, because we're knife people and we like learning about knives just for the fun of it, right? If you made it to this point, you are the real MVP. Go ahead and smash that like button for me. It helps the YouTube algorithm, gets this video pushed to a larger audience, which will be greatly appreciated. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, this will be a great time to do so. By the way, it is absolutely free. And I promise you'll be worth coming back for more. I make knife content like this on an ongoing basis, so you would not want to miss on that. Definitely check out the new knives coming in to the channel for sure. Keep you updated on everything that comes my way. If you want to support the channel a step further, there's a link for Patreon down below, or you can simply support the channel right here on YouTube by becoming a channel member, right? In the meantime, of course, check out the unboxing on this one. I'm going to leave a video card right here for you guys to check that one next. Guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.